Welcome back. With examples like this, you need to simplify the function first before differentiating it. In the next chapter, we will teach you how to work with products and we will teach you the product rule. But in this chapter, we want you to understand that first, you can distribute all the terms before you differentiate it. Because for now, we only know power rule and constant rule. So, solution. I can see that we have two steps. Step 1 is to differentiate the function, and step 2 to substitute 3 into the result to find the slope, basically, of this function. Let me show you how I would rewrite this function. So I see we have 6, and there's a square root of x. Square root of x can be written as x to the 1/2. In general, maybe you don't remember, let me remind you briefly, that x that raised to the power n over m can be written like so. Whatever was at the top, in this case is n, will go at the top, will go to the top, and whatever was at the bottom will go to the root. I kind of imagining it is a little bit lower, which is not necessarily true, but this is how I remember it. N will stay as the power on top of x, and m goes to the root. So, and also a special notation for x squared. X squared is the 1/2 root, the most popular one. The 1/2 power, I meant. So we have 6x raised to the 1/2, parentheses, x cubed minus 7, x to the 1/2 one more time, plus 4. I cannot differentiate separately this term and the second term. Those two are factors. So either I'm using product rule from the next chapter, or I'm going to distribute first before differentiating. Distribution means I will multiply this term by x cubed, by minus 7x to the 1/2, and by 4, and add the result. 6x. We have x to the 1/2 multiplied by x to the 3rd minus 7 will be multiplied later. 6x to the 1/2 multiplied by 7x to the 1/2 plus 6x to the 1/2 times 4. As you can see, we're undoing factoring. The 6x to the 1/2 used to be factored out. Now let me remind you another formula. Another formula says when x to the n is multiplied by x to the m, what do? Do you multiply those powers or add them? You add them. While if x to the n raised to the next power, to another power m, then you multiply the powers, like so. And the third case is division. X to the n divided by x to the m will be what? Correct, n minus m. So we're going to use the product formula, x to the n times x to the m. We have 6x, and we now work with 1/2 plus 3, minus 6x, 6 times 7, let's collect the terms and coefficients, x to the 1/2 plus 1/2, which is 1, plus 6 times 4, x to the 1/2. Let's do some algebra, your favorite part, right? So, 1/2 plus 3. Remember, you can always write down 3 as 3 times 2 over 2. And that creates a common denominator. You can write it down as 2 is a common denominator. And now we have 1 plus 3 times 2, which is 1 plus 6. Which is 7 over 2, like so. Thus, we have 7 over 2. That's good. Minus 42x, 1/2 plus 1/2, I hope you know, it's 2 over 2, which is 1, plus 24x to the 1/2. And this is the function which we did not differentiate yet. Please remember, we just simplified it. And by simplifying, I actually don't claim it is a simplified version. It's a distributed version. Now, it's still step 1, but we're gonna differentiate. this result. F prime will be, following the power rule, this 7 over 2 looks so ugly, I don't like it. It is 7 over 2, better. Power rule says, so first of all 6 will stay. In general, these rates will be still there after differentiation. So 6 is multiplied by. Power rule says 7 over 2 will go down. And now I have x raised to the 7 over 2 minus 1. Minus 42. What is derivative of x? Derivative of x is 1. Plus 24, open parentheses, 1/2 goes down and x will be raised to the 1/2 minus 1. Finally, let me simplify again. 6 over 2 can be simplified to be 3, and 3 times 7 is 21. 21 is multiplied by x. What is 7? So let me make notes in the blue color again. Those are my algebra notes. So I usually do it with a pencil and highly recommend you to do the same thing. Another note is 7 over 2 minus 1 will be 7 over 2 minus 2 over 2. And that's how I created the common denominator. It's going to be 5 over 2. Like so. I will have x raised to the new power, 5 over 2, minus 42 times 1, plus 24 divided by 2 is 12. And x is now raised to the 1/2 minus 1. 1/2 minus 1 over 2 minus 2 over 2 is minus 1 over 2. Or we know that 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2. This is the first answer. You can start typing it in. And it could be rewritten with the roots if they really want you to, but why would you do it? I'm not sure, so I would not do it. Let's move on to the step 2. Step 2 is they wanted us to plug a number 3. So in step 2, let's plug 3 or substitute 3 into the answer. Do you notice that I always box my answers? That is because it will be easier to see them for the next steps. And sooner we will have 5 steps in each problem. So beware of that. 21 is now multiplied by 3 raised to the 5/2 minus 42 plus 12 multiplied by 3 raised to the negative 1/2. That is the exact answer. And actually in many places, people prefer the exact answer. Exact answer is always better than approximate. But I do have an approximate answer for you, which I'm not gonna pretend did not suddenly calculate like a genius. I just saved it for my notes, and it says it's approximately 292.29. Or if you want more decimal places, then 8/6 is good. If you want to know how to calculate 3 raised to the powers, it will be 21 times 3 is raised to the 5th power, and it has a square root. How do I know that? Using the formula I already showed you. 5 was at the top, so it stays at the top. 1/2 indicates a square root. Minus 42 plus 12, and now this 3 is going to be in the denominator because of the negative sign, and it has a square root. So this is the exact answer as well. Remember, you only have 3 raised to those powers. Do not mix 21 and 12 into your calculations when you work with powers. And that's why I always use parentheses. Thank you for watching and keep working hard.